So, are you ready for question and answer 58? Of course you are, because I am. Let's go. Is reading a good book like being with a friend? It can be. I mean, if it draws me in and it's like captures me with either that cover, a little bit of what's on the back, and definitely with the meat in the inside of the book, then yeah, it'll probably get a book review. And it'll probably be on my recommendation list. What makes a book a bombshell book review? Good question. Not only does it have a cover that draws me in, it has the back that intrigues the mind, but once I've read the story and shared great parts that I can relate to, or it seems like I can relate to, then I want to share it with you. So it makes it a bombshell book review. When does sound become music? If I can understand the lyrics and understand what's being said, and it has good rhythm, makes me want to get up and get to it. I'm right now enjoying this new Blanco classic. Get the dance thing y'all are doing. Get up, the get up. It's so adorable, and I would love to do that with my nieces, but I know they'd never do it. In a song, which is more important, the music or the words? I think that a song creates a picture in your mind with the lyrics, of course, but of course you have to have the music to remember, like the entrance to the dance. You can hear that, and every time you hear that piano entrance, you know that Garth Brooks is going to be coming on singing that song. The Rose, you can hear that entrance, and to me, some will say Bette Midler, some will say Conway Twitty, which I can relate to. You're going to think of The Rose. I mean, it's all one big puzzle that you take all these pieces, and each piece creates a masterpiece. That's what I love about puzzles. Does listening to music help study and memory? I think it does. When we were younger, we had the little Walkmans. Now I'm really dating myself, right? And we could put the cassette tapes in there and press rewind, play, fast forward. I would have my little Walkman on in high school, and I'd be sitting there doing my homework and listening to Lionel Cartwright sing, "Say It's Not True," or "It's a Leap of Faith, Cast Away Your Doubts, Come what may, we can work this out. A love that's real will always find a way. If you trust in me like I trust in you." I love that song so much. I've heard it so much. But it's one of my favorites. Is it possible to achieve everything? My new attitude is do your best. You can set a goal of everything that you want to get done in one day, but do your best. You may not get everything in, and guess what? If you're lucky, you can wake up the next day, breathe in, breathe out, and maybe get it done. And just try to get your time going that way. We were blessed on Monday to have a day where everything just fell into place and got it done, and it was grateful. How can you make a difference in this world? I'm at a point in my life where I'm getting older, and I want to say that every negative you can make a positive by finding a positive in every situation. Some people would throw it back at me, well, how about that bomb? Okay, how about that bomb? I'm going to find a positive in that negative because I have a way that the post office had told me to go about that. But in another way, it was red, white, and blue, so it was patriotic for the 4th of July. And you know what? If you couldn't take a joke, then that's one thing. And I've learned that in life, you have to learn to laugh when the bad happens, when the good happens, and move on. And that's all that was a blip on my radar. They didn't ruin my day, ruin my life. I know you tried, sweetheart, but it didn't work. Okay. Can there be many paths to a single goal? I think so. I don't think there's one way in life for us to achieve happiness. I think we have to, when we get in a problem or a situation, we have to find many different ways out of that problem and then go with that best way from the different ways that we've come up with to reach the goal. For example, Grandpa has sold his car, and State Farm informed me today that was a no-no. And so what they want him to do is find a similar car to park in the garage, because otherwise it's going to up our house insurance and up my car insurance. So I told him, you know what, it's all good. I'm going to pray about this. Things are going to work out. We don't need that car back, no, but we're going to find something similar that we all can agree on and go with it. Because after all, it's just going to sit out there. And as the lady said on the phone, it can rot out for all she cares. But if we don't, then the house insurance is going to go up. My car insurance is going to go up. And we don't need either one to go up. Let's see here. What is the greatest gift a person can give to another person? You know, when we had the party, I said it then, I'll say it now. You can think of every excuse not to attend something, not to send a card. Oh, it slipped your mind, or oh, you just had so many things on your plate because you were busy. And I like to use Billy Ray Cyrus's song Busy Man, because if you are ever that busy, then really you need to evaluate your life, because time to go to the Dollar General or Dollar Tree and get a 50-cent card, throw in a gift card to somewhere, would that really hurt somebody? I don't think so. It would take time to show that you actually gave a damn, effort, because it shows that you care, and that's more respect than not doing anything at all. And that's just sick. Is it possible to live with no regrets? I don't think so. I think we all make mistakes, that no one person is perfect. Now, you have a choice in life. You can forgive and then forget, or forgive and forget. So, you know, the way I look at it, the way I've learned to live my life, I don't want to hold grudges. I want to be able to forgive and then move on. Whether that means that person is in my life or just outside my life, that's fine. Either way. But I'm not going to hold grudges, and I'm just going to move on. I'm done with that, because the only person I would be hurting is myself, and that's stupid when it's the person who hurt me that would be the mistake. And that's the way you got to look at it. Is love a weakness or strength? You know, watching my grandparents, they had it in weakness and in strength. They had it when her health deteriorated, and Grandpa was her rock. And that kind of love is a 1 in a million kind. Very rare. But in everyday life, I think that love brings out weaknesses. And the strength is good for maybe getting to know the person, but it becomes weak when there's outside interference. Whether that's mutual friends, whether that's co-workers, whether that's, what's a good word I'm looking for? People who don't even know them since high school. You know, I used to say that love was strength, and that love conquered all. As most of you know, my attitude on that has varied very much so. And I don't know. I'm just kind of... I've seen the both ends of the spectrum and got to experience usually the weakness where strength doesn't overcome. And that's the sad part. You know what I'm saying? Never to experience one that could fight off everybody and still remain true. I always say maybe it's for the size 0 girls, or the girls who go to the bars and party hardy and don't care if they get HIV or some sort of disease from these guys that sleep around with just any kind of trash. But honestly, I don't know anymore. That's where I'm at with that. Are you in control of your own life? Anybody that knows me knows I'm a control freak. I love to control every aspect of my life. And I believe now there's no aspect that I'm not controlling. So I think that I'm finally on the right path, finally getting things going the right direction. I've just got to be a little bit more gusta and go to in some areas. But other than that, I think my life is actually going pretty good right now. I can't complain. I don't see any problems in my life. I'm not going to add any situations in my life, so there is problems. I'm doing good. Do we tend to only pay attention to what matters to us? You know, I think that life sometimes is so hectic that, like we get on Facebook. Well, there was a situation I encountered tonight. A friend of mine saw us at a restaurant, and Grandpa said, well, my wife passed away in January. And she goes, oh, I just get on Facebook every now and then. I didn't know. And, it's sad that we have to resort to social media to log in and see what's going on with somebody that actually lives in the same town or city of us, that they don't know what happened or when. They don't pick up the paper. They don't actually get in touch with us by texting, or, they just are lost in communication. And I don't know. I think there's a lot in today's world that we rely too much on social media for. What is stronger emotion, anger or love? Well, if you're a hot-headed, stubborn person, I would say anger. It's easier to be angry, upset, mad than to do the work, put the time in, put the effort in for anything but love and work things out. So it seems like anger is stronger than love in my life. Now, in everybody else's life, each person is different, but for some reason, anger is always present in my life. But I tend to overlook it now and just go, I rise above. Why do I rise above? Because I know that my future is going to be so bright that I got to wear shades. And from here on out, I'm planning things and making sure that goals are met, big and small. And I'm going to make sure that everything gets met in a timely manner, and things will be fine. Are life's gifts always obvious? I don't think so. I recently learned a very hard lesson, a very long lesson with Mike. It took us forever and a day to get that divorce that I had to pay for. But I think that lesson taught me something very painful, something very meaningful. The painful part was love does not always conquer all. And the meaningful is if you let something fester and you don't settle it, it affects your future. Because then when you go forward and you're out on a date with the guy of your dreams and he's sitting there and he says, is there anything that Google didn't tell me? And you say, you think in your head first, do I say it out loud? And then you think, well, if he went on Google, it's got to be there. And then you say it out loud and you hear yourself say it. And then you want to take those words back, but it's too late. And you say, well, I'm virtually married. It was painful, definitely, to share that. Looking back, maybe I shouldn't have been so honest right at first. I should have been like what they said on the Today Show, give bits and pieces and don't get too damn personal too quick. But I have learned you don't keep secrets, because secrets just erode and make the relationship bust up that much quicker. I have learned that throughout history. And if there is one thing that I could do and go back and undo quicker, would be that virtual marriage, and we would have got that virtual divorce much quicker. So that answer would have been, no, have never been married, instead of being so painfully honest and saying, yes, I had. What is the best thing that a marriage can be based on? I don't think there should be any lies. I don't think there should be any deceiving. Yes, I'm a control freak. I've been asked, would I in a relationship ask for control or passwords of their social media. You have to really understand where my distrust comes with social media from. It broke up my dad and my mom. He got up in the dead of a January night and no note. We had no call. And we would reach out to his family and they would play dumb and say they had no idea. They hadn't heard from him when they probably either had or he was at their house. But they advised us not to come over looking for him. Am I bitter about that? I probably always will be. I never want to be considered his daughter. I think it's a disgrace. I'm just blessed and fortunate to have the family that I do have that cares about me from day one and never walked away, never showed any weakness, never showed any distrust, and was always there, was always reliable. I could count on them, rain or shine, snow, sleet, or hail. They were family and they were always there. And, I just can't relate to these people that say, well, I just was so scared to come and talk to you. I think about that now and my fears that I've had in my own relationships and how sometimes I've been my own worst enemy out of being scared, out of being frightful because, I'm not good with yelling, screaming, and hollering, let alone grabbing or pushing and shoving because I've seen that in my life. I've experienced that, which is unfortunate, yes, but I've experienced all that. So, what's the best thing a marriage can be based on? Trust, honesty, loyalty, dependability. Heck, look at the Chevrolet commercials from way back when, like a rock. That, I mean, you can say anything in the world and feel comfortable in knowing that other person cannot be pushed away, cannot be shoved away, won't run away at the first sign of trouble, that won't be so weak to believe some bullshit that never even happened. Sorry, I get passionate. When I do, I get wound up. What do women really want from men? Well, I know what I really want from a man. Honesty, sincerity, tenderness, and trust. A little bit less time for the rest of the world and a little bit more for us. Hey, that's a Rodney Atkins song. But yeah, I think that that would be nice to experience that. But is it ever going to happen? See the eye roll. What do men really want from women? That is a puzzle to me because just when I think things are going the right way, it quickly goes the wrong way. And not 5 miles fast, we're talking 100 miles an hour. They just put the gas down and go. So I don't know what I do wrong, and I know that there's some other my girlfriends out there that are second guessing themselves right now, going with some relationships that didn't work out, that I don't feel comfortable in doing some dear bombshells tonight, and I apologize. It's just we'll do them in the future, but right now it's all too fresh and y'all are going through some painful situations. I don't think it's the right time for me to voice my opinion on that. But I really think that love should conquer all, in not just in books, not just in movies. It should happen in everyday reality. We shouldn't have these shows on TV like Temptation Island because half the time, once they go on that show, they're not going to go home with the same person they came on with. And that bothers me, Just little things like that. Married at first sight. Can you imagine if you met your spouse or loved one at first sight down the aisle? You both didn't know you were going to get married that same day, but down the aisle. Do you think you'd honestly work out? I don't. Hell, half the couples on there probably don't. Look at Kate and Luke from last season. Hell, I was glued last season. This season, I tried to watch it, couldn't even watch it for one episode. Had to turn it off. Just made me so mad. Is stubbornness always a negative quality? I'm stubborn. It can be. I won't lie. I mean, heck, every quality has positive and negatives. That's how I feel. Does my stubbornness have bad qualities? Probably, yes. But there's also some positives too. Is it possible to live... Oh, we thought we did this one already. Yeah, we did. So we'll have to do one from next week's questions. Where's that at? Of course. Under everything. Well, let's just do the last question here. Can time be bought? Can time be bought? Absolutely. Well, I guess in a way it can if you like country music and you want to go backstage and meet your favorite superstar, because usually you have to buy these fan club passes to go backstage. If you're like wrestling, I noticed the other day they had a John Moxley, which was Dean Ambrose in WWE, and to go backstage and meet him was $45. To get your picture with him was another $45. It's a real money-making situation, but honestly, I think they overcharge on that. It should be one $45 fee to go backstage and get your picture, because nobody should be so special that they charge different fees for that. I think that's just wrong in all manners. There's other ways to be nice without having to charge money. And I think that that's one thing that you take away from that backstage experience by charging money. I really do. What extra question can I do with you, since that was an extra? Boy, this is putting me at a loss. Hold on a second. How is youth viewed at an older age? Well, I would say we look back at our youth, or we see people that in a restaurant come in who are younger than us, and we think, man, did we act that way? Or, man, what disrespect they just showed to that old person. Or, why didn't they open the door? Why didn't they have more manners? Let them go first instead of letting them stand behind them. Stuff like that. I think that when we get older, we see the mistakes of youth, that we should have been more thoughtful. We should have been more mannerism. Everything. We reflect on what should have been. And maybe sometimes we should speak up and say, hey, let's show some kindness and respect for our elders, and not act like these little teenage adults that you're acting like right now. Maybe it takes somebody like an outsider like ourselves to make a difference in this world. Just some thoughts and my feelings tonight. Okay, I may sing a song for you, so don't go nowhere.